I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they're here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Yeah. All right, bear with me. Yo, dudes and dudettes. Today we're going to be squawking about Cushing Street Skate Park, the raddest spot to shred in Tucson, Arizona, where the concrete is smooth and the skate park is covered. This gnarly stomping ground will be around for anyone looking to carve up the bowls, hit the half pipes, or stomp some sick tricks. Whether you're bombing hills or grinding ledges, this place is going to be totally mint. I've seen the specs and it's got killer flow. Perfect for busting out some old school power slides like it's straight outta Skate or Die for Nintendo. So grab your deck, lace up those Vans, and come tear it up, because today I'm fortunate enough to speak with Caleb Gutierez, founder of the Cushing Street Skate Park. Caleb, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Get that microphone close to you. Let's go.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here.
I appreciate it. Apologies for that intro. I had ChatGPT help me out. Okay, good. It's funny. Really I was going to mention Skate or Die in it, and it did it for me automatically. I'm like, yes, that's my favorite.
That was awesome.
So let's talk about what this all is, because what's going on is a really big deal, is something that you kickstarted about 8 years ago, right? Is it something around then where it was this idea for having a covered skate park here in Tucson? All of our skate parks here, and I don't know how many there are, I'll ask you in a moment, none of them are free from the sun. So this concept of getting one that's shady, brand new, is really a great idea. And it's an interesting story on how you were motivated to do it and inspired to get it done here in town. So tell us all about how this started.
So it started, 8 years ago. It's been now. Doesn't feel like 8 years. It flies by. It started with me working at the Vans store at the Tucson Mall.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of the inventory, back of the house inventory guy, and Vans has this project called the Vans Passion Project, and it's for artists and anyone who makes art that can submit their passion. So mine was, skateboarding. I was like, I had this idea of seeing this empty land. The site there was just empty underneath the I-10 and Cushing Street. So I told my manager, this has to happen. Like, what should I do? And, he's like, you should submit it through the Passion Project and maybe talk to the city. So that's how it started, getting ideas like, man, this is going to be, it's like, how does a skater that just skates for fun make this a real thing? So that's how it started in 2016.
Okay, so Vans, now was this competition or contest open to like anyone, or was it for Vans employees?
Yeah, Vans employees only, and you had to do it on yourself, of your passion, like art. If you're a musician, if you're a fashion, make clothes. So I asked to instead of making art, I was like, I want to build a skate park for my community. So there's a video I can share it on our Instagram, and it's just me talking about the concept and what it would bring to Tucson. And like you said, the intro, it's the first shaded skate park in Arizona, which is very surprising to me because I think Phoenix.
In all of Arizona?
All of Arizona.
Holy jeez.
So I would say, I'm like, Phoenix doesn't even have that. And they have tons of skate parks.
That's incredible.
So this will be the first one.
I'll tell you, so I'm an entrepreneurial guy, right? This is the type of person I am. And I always give the advice where when you're asked something like, if you could tell your younger self something, what would it be? And I always am able to do that in a way by telling younger folks to enter contests and enter competitions. Because when you're younger, there's a lot more. There's scholarships. There's things like that are all about doing that. And I'll tell you just a story of why I tell them this. Because when I was graduating college, there was a competition that a local art supply store was doing that they will publish your graphic novel for you, which is amazing. And do you know that I believe 3 people entered it out of the entire school? So that place decided, we're going to give the 3 of you first prize. Yep. And they published their things.
That's
you
awesome.
got to try.
Yep.
Because you never know if you're the only person trying, right? Don't talk yourself out of something.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So you just entering that is huge. Yep. But then what did you have to do? Because I believe You actually won it. Do me a favor. Pull that microphone super close to you.
So I totally I did win it, and it was you had to wait 6 months for the results. So this was like, April, and then the results were in September or October. And I did win the contest through Vans.
Right.
They loved it. They were like,
it's a great idea.
I was asking for $200,000, which was like nothing for a park like this. I just like gave a number to start, the initial starting. And so they didn't know I didn't have the city backing me. Like they didn't like, oh, this guy doesn't have like permits and
you need a construction crew and the allowance to do it.
So this is where it turned like in one day, you know, it was like, let's celebrate. This is going to happen. But the next day, like just 360, they said they can't do this. I can't be first place because I didn't have the city approving this land or the space. And they're like, oh, it's under the freeway, so you have to go through the federal ADOT. So you got to ask them too. Like, this is a huge deal now.
Okay.
So they kind of like took it away and gave it to second place winner.
Okay.
But they still stayed in contact. Like, we will help you if you need help. Like, just let's stay in contact.
Sure. What was their first prize anyway? Even if you had pitched like it would cost $200,000, like what, they weren't going to just say, yeah, we'll do it. Like what they must have had a prize anyway. Is like what was first anyhow.
Yeah. So you would submit, if I was making an album and I said, oh, I need $10,000 for my band and for recording and mastering and all that. So that the amount you offer or you ask for, they give you that.
Interesting.
So that's how it works.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
And again, I say this, I've had experience with this too. In a way, it's kind of like a pitch competition without just having to show up and do it on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Where these things exist, pitch an idea. If you have a great idea, especially for your community, you never know if just you can run it up the right flagpole and you might find the help. And then that's what ends up happening. So tell me more.
So yeah, I was, after hearing that news, I was totally bummed out. I was like, man, this really sucks. And what do I do now? So probably like 2 weeks later, there is a city council meeting happening in downtown Tucson. And I didn't know about it. This photographer named Jeff Weber, he was working through...
was it Brink Media?
Maybe Brink Media.
Because I know Jeff Weber, and I know him from back in the day, and I worked with him.
Yes. So Jeff calls me. He got my number from his sister because we went to high school together.
That's Tucson.
And and he remembered me sharing the post on Facebook and stuff, Instagram, like, oh, this happened. And he's just like, dude, you need to come down here like today at 4 or 3, whatever. I thought of you. You need to tell the city about your project. What happened? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like I'm not in the mood. And, just like, and he's like, no, you need to get down here. So I called a buddy up. I'm like, Kyle, you want to go with me to the city? I'll do all the talking. It's like printed out some things just to talk about. So I wouldn't be like, I was nervous, super nervous.
Sure.
Talking in front of all these people and not expecting what the outcome was going to be.
How old were you at the time?
I was 26.
Okay.
And so, yeah, Kyle was like, yeah, I'll go with you. Like, okay. So we go down there to the city council and there's a
Suntran, yeah.
Bus protest happening, and it's they're going to take out the Ronstadt Center. So there was a huge bus protest going on when we got there. Like,
every once in a while, the city council, which usually is filled with 1 or 2, 3 angry old people and nobody else in the room except for all these representatives that have to sit there, and they are tired of it. A city council meeting is something special. I'll tell you a story in a little bit about some of my experience at city council meetings, also because of Brink. So that's our kind of mutual connection. That's how I wound up at so many city council meetings when things were going down here in town. When Green Shirt Guy was at a city council meeting, we were talking about that a little bit ago. Every once in a while, these city council meetings turn into quite an uproar. And this was one where all these bus riders and people involved with the Ronstadt were like, no, and protesting down at the city council. And you're like, I have an issue. And they give you like, did they give you 4 minutes, 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes of playtime. Oh, yeah.
So
I know. Tell me.
We sign up, we get there, it's packed. Like the news is there because it's the bus downtown, the main hub, right? So all these people are there. So we sign up and we're last. They put us. We're like, all right. We had to sit through the whole 2 hour, 3 hour thing. We're like, okay. And I was like, let's get out of here. Like this is. But we waited. So then they call us up. They say, oh, Caleb and Kyle to the podium, and it just started off with me like, oh, I worked for Vans, and what I just said on the radio right now.
Sure.
Right now, just saying. And they, I won it. Then they took it away because I didn't have your guys' approvals. But I just spilled everything, the whole idea, the plans, and the whole place. All those bus people started cheering.
Heck
they were
yeah.
like, even one guy was like, I remember this guy in the back, like the cool guy, like it's like, hell yeah, like give him that park.
That's
like,
amazing.
like
Yo, a bunch of rabble rousers there in the room might have helped you out. You inspired a whole group of people that were angry.
It was awesome. It was so great. And I remember just like probably smiling so big, just looking around, and everyone's clapping, all in like matching shirts and for their thing.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh yeah, we support this.
So that is a pitch competition right there, because that you did a pitch. You get 3 minutes. This is, again, these things exist. That's what that was. That wasn't you typing an email. That was you in front of a full house.
Yeah, full house.
That's crazy.
So then, the mayor and Ward 1, and at that time was Regina Romero, Mayor Regina Romero. She was Ward 1.
Oh, so this is before she was the mayor.
Yeah, she was on the console.
Wow.
She was up there with the 7 members. They're like, oh yeah, it's on my Ward 1, Cushing Street, the site. So they're like, oh, she'll talk to you after this. We'll meet up outside. And then after that, it was like her, and then the news wanted to talk to us, and it kind of just like the flames just got really big.
Heck yeah.
Going from there.
That's fantastic. And I had read, there's a great This Is Tucson article. There's a few of them, and you can look them up. They talk about that, how it was that she was so moved by your effort, the fact that you showed up, because they see what they deal with all the time. So let me tell you a story about what they often do deal with, because I used to volunteer at Brink, and I would go down. The reason Jeff was down there is because they used to have the contract to record all of these and broadcast them. So they would be down there recording all the city council meetings.
Yep.
Oh, what a job, right? So I would go down there sometimes to get involved or to speak or to do some things once in a while, just because, nerd, voting, things, caring about local stuff. A lot of people care about these big elections nationally, and then they pay no interest to their local elections. And you should care about your local street more than you care about your state, because you can affect your street. You're affecting our streets. Literally, our street, you're having an effect on it, when most people just complain about what's wrong with the world, and they look at things that are too big for them to have an impact on.
Right.
You going to a city council meeting literally changed a whole bunch, changed in a way your life by going to this one meeting, because look what it did. It's so inspirational, because I'm going to tell you, I've gone to a few of these, and one of the times I had the best experiences, just like Parks and Rec, where you get the local lunatics, and there's some old man, and he gets his, I think at this one, since it wasn't packed, they had 7 minutes. And he gets up there, he's like, oh, I just think it's too loud. And the noise with this and that. And he's giving examples of construction, students, cars. And then finally they kind of pause him and they're like, sir, where are you specifically complaining about the noise? And he just goes, everywhere. And I just bust out laughing. This is an old man yells at cloud. This is an old man went down to the city council to just say it's too loud. Where? Everywhere. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's hysterical. So that's often what they're dealing with, which is why when someone comes down there like, and you won a competition where they were going to give you almost $250,000, but they're just like, whoops, we can't, but we still want to somehow help you. So that's really impressive, because it shows what was wanted, and then it shows what was needed by the people cheering for you.
Yeah, and it all, after that happened, my spirit definitely shot back up. Like I was saying, I was super bummed getting not winning first place, getting it taken away. Mm-hmm. How it happened, like Jeff calling me and just being there and hearing all those people and then talking with everyone, like, this is a great idea. Yep. Yes, we need this. And
did you learn a lesson about like, wow, don't quit? Like
definitely.
Something, right?
And that lesson, yeah, totally. The comparison was being a skateboarder, being determined to land a trick. You're like, people don't know. It's like when they see a video part or something, they're like, oh man, they're so good at skating. It took them, or it takes us, 100 tries.
Yep.
Or go back the next day, or go back a month later to land it. And if you do land it, you're not happy with it, you go back again.
Right.
And do another 20 tries.
Right.
Just to make it perfect.
It's quite the melding of art and sports, similar to pro wrestling, I will say, where the reason that people like, oh, that stuff looks easy is because they can do it.
Right.
Because when you see bad pro wrestling, boy, it's the worst thing you're seeing, right? You don't see all the times that skateboarders are experimenting, testing their limits and pushing their limits
100%.
constantly. This is a later question. How good was that Tony Hawk documentary that came out like last year? Did you watch that?
I haven't seen that.
It's so inspirational. And his life is interesting, but it really is a lesson about determination and support. He gets the support of his family.
Oh, yeah.
That really helps him achieve greatness. And I mean the type of greatness that, like, that's why Tiger Woods is as great as he is, because since 4 years old, this is what they're doing.
If you ask someone, like, skateboarder name anywhere in the world, it's his name.
Yeah. He's the Michael Jordan of skateboarding.
Yeah.
He's the Tony Hawk of skateboarding. I mean, you could just start using him because he's incredible. And he did so much for the community. I was going to ask you this even because I already made the skate or die joke. What's the greatest skateboard video game of all time, in your opinion?
Well, everyone knows that.
Which one, though?
I would say Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
That's what I was going to say. It's Pro Skater 2. Everywhere. Is that Spider-Man in that one? Is that the one they put Spider? Yes.
It's
right?
the best. It's literally the best
just
one.
is.
Pro Skater 2.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's great.
Yes.
It's the school. When you go skate to school, that one's like the best one you can choose.
Heck yeah. And that's what's really great. So again, you could say, you're almost downplaying a little bit ago, it is like being an artist. Don't tell me it's not. There's a lot of creative endeavor and a lot of things that kind of mix with it, because you got a lot of street stuff. You got a lot of you're going to have a mural there perhaps, right?
Yeah, we really want to make it colorful down there.
Yep.
And not just the skate park side, like the wall. We want to do both. You know, you're driving past, going east and west, you see both walls.
It's probably some cool graffiti stuff too, like things like that.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
That space, you know, we've been, over the years, we had a lot of people ask us, like, oh, you guys are doing the skate park on 18th Street underpass. And it's right up, this is Cushing Street, and a block up is 18th.
Okay.
And it's a bike underpass, and the ceiling is really low.
Okay.
And everyone thinks it's there.
Oh.
They don't think it's that huge, empty, open space.
Yeah. Vacant lots. We've got a lot of them here.
A lot of them. And there's two there. And now one of them's finally going to be a park. Like the other side of the road, Cushing Street, can be something else too.
Yeah.
You know, it potentially could be something.
Well, and it's just about funds. So now let's ask about that. Since the funds for this got, in a way, taken away, but then supported, and you're getting a lot of funds from some grants and fundraising, all the sales from any merchandise that you have. You're wearing a sweet hat right now. You've got shirts. You got all this cool stuff that you can buy. That goes to the benefit of this. So right now, shockingly, you have raised, in a way, $1.1 million through various grants. You can find all this on your Instagram, which I believe is at Cushing Street Skate Park, correct? Yeah. So a lot of this stuff, let me ask you this much. I'm almost annoyed. Do you have a website or no?
We don't.
I'm shocked. So you need a .com, but no, you don't, because you're cool skateboarders. They just need an Instagram. I was like, I laughed. I'm like, they don't need a .com. Who needs that? They have an Instagram. So you can go find out that stuff there. And there's lots of stuff on there, both that shows how the grants, I think, were like, where some of it came from Tohono Chul. Another bit of it was from some other things. Or can you explain it better?
Yeah, we've had grants from all the arts, pretty much everything that's in the Tucson region. We just got one last Tuesday or 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Through the APRA, which is Regina Romero and Santa Cruz Lane. They got a $500,000 grant.
Oh my God!
Grant. So the 1.1 should be 1.6.
So now it's up to what? Breaking news as of just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
like that's amazing.
Yeah, super awesome. And just hearing about it, like they told us, we're going to have this meeting, and I didn't know the amount. So then hearing about it, waking up like, oh, we got this much money for you guys. It's like, oh my.
Right, that's a lot of zeros. Yeah. Like, can you believe? And it shows you that once you get an idea going and the momentum going. So now, even though it has been 8 years, because The pandemic obviously set things back by a lot. B, at one point I saw, okay, they're saying this might cost $300,000. Oh, turns out it's going to cost $1.9 million. Like, that's a huge amount because
a large amount.
That's such a jump because of how much time, almost a decade passes. Yeah. We have the pandemic thing happen. People's priorities change and a lot of decisions. But now we are kind of back to beautifying is important and getting back to normalcy, even though I'll tell you, having a sweet skate park outside during a pandemic would have been great,
right,
you know, right?
Exactly.
But let's hope that we can get things moving.
You know, after that city hall, city council meeting, that's where it all started, like, for sure. And, you know, working with Ward 1, I went to a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
Downtown Partnership, Rio Nuevo, all these different meetings just to meet people. Not even my age. I'm talking like twice my age.
They're older. They're still the ones taking care of business.
Yes.
But that's why guys like you have to realize that you can do it too and step up.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And you know, I did learn a lot, and I paid attention. I wrote stuff down, and you know, I would get ready for the next meeting a week later. Almost got fired from my job because I'm like, oh, I need this day off because I have to go to this meeting. It's like, how many meetings are you going to? You know.
Well,
and
a couple $1 million doesn't come up out of nowhere.
I learned a lot from that for sure. And what I saw change in 2018, 2019, I forget when that was, is the skateboarding going into the Olympics.
I was just going to ask you that.
So that, you know, before that, the meetings, you know, the gentleman in the meetings would just real quick let me talk and then just like, all right, we'll contact you if we have any more questions,
sure.
You know. That kind of vibe. And then now the skateboarding's in the Olympics, and they would bring that up, that topic. Yep. Oh, like, what do you think about that? Like, do you think we have a chance? Like, who are some skaters that you think are in? Like, all these questions for me about, they were excited about it.
Isn't that something?
And I saw that difference of like, wow, that is something.
Got it. What does it mean? Because that was going to be a question that I had coming up later. Like, what does it mean to you that skateboarding is now an Olympic sport?
I mean, that's cool. That's cool that, you know, represent your country and you train for something, a gold medal in any, you know, swimming.
Yeah.
But skateboarding, like I grew up skating in the streets and skate spots, getting a ticket in.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
And there's skaters in the Olympics that grew up that way too. And that is really cool.
I'm sure it's mostly that. It's not your Ivy League skaters yet. Yeah. They'll get there eventually now that this has happened, because you're just like anything. The Olympics is an interesting thing where you will get people that are professional athletes for life, where they have a sponsor. Someone sees them at an age and they say, okay, I'm going to pay for your house and I'm going to pay for you this so you don't have to have a job. And you can train nonstop to become the greatest in the world.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said, because a lot of our listeners do skew older, and they'd be surprised that, guess what? Your kids that are playing video games, your grandkids that are playing video games, there are professional video game tournaments, and being a gamer is going to become a lucrative e-sport. How these industries work, and skateboarding, because of the Olympics, is going to jump immensely as an industry in a way, which is fascinating. Tell me about some of the skate culture around here, because I was asking you about some of these great other groups that are in town. There's Babs, and then there's this, which is all about like making it cool for gals, because it's a male-dominated thing. So Babs is a great group. And then there was the other one, which is like an alliance, the Tucson Skate Park Alliance, which they've been helping you out a little bit. Yeah. They're a different nonprofit. So it's good to see a lot of the community here in town obviously backing this amazing project.
Yeah, it was 2018, you know, the TSA, Tucson Skate Park Alliance, is the gentleman's from Mortal Skate Shop.
Okay.
And, you know, they reached out and they asked if they could do anything, like carry the torch a little, any ideas, projects, and we did a few. We did I forget, I think it was just the Cushing Street fundraiser. It was through the hotel, Clifton Hotel.
Okay.
And they gave us their parking lot, and we built like some ramps, and we put some rails, had a barbecue, had donation buckets, had bands play. And then Babs has been around for a while, and then they just advocate like around, you know, girls, female skaters, and all age groups, which is awesome. And Blocks Skate Shop is actually, they've been around the longest, which is like 2010 10.
Yeah.
And we've done like zines and art shows to raise money.
Heck yeah.
Very community-based stuff.
Heck yeah.
And then
It's community. I mean, that's a lot of what it is.
It's been, even bars like Shay's Lounge,
Yep.
House Club. We've had a lot of people just whatever you need, like whatever you want to do to raise money. The screening room, we've had live scoring for Thomas Campbell, Your Old Destruction, his skate video. We had local bands score it, and all ages just go there and like get to learn skate culture, like skating. And that his video is not just like a proper skate video, like you see someone's part and it's over, and then the name, second person comes out, the name pops up.
Mm-hmm.
This is an actual 16 millimeter black and white film.
Yeah.
So it's skating.
How old is it? Old? Is this or is it new? Like, because I
4
know there's a lot of
4 years maybe.
Okay, because famously skateboarding and skate videos. That's how Jackass gets started, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
was it CKY? Is it that, or am I thinking of?
Yeah, that's CKY.
Yeah, like back in the '90s, like this was a big subcultural thing. Tape trading this and finding out all about this culture, and then getting connected to where it is popular in California. Obviously, the big movement out there on the West Coast, which we definitely get the trickles of. It's huge to watch, as I was saying in that Tony Hawk documentary, like how this all starts and grows and then becomes like a proper competition. And it's fascinating. And just like anything, it just is growing exponentially. The reason that all these organizations, by the way, I know every one of those places that you mentioned, and the reason they all want to support you is because this is by definition cool. It's just the coolest. And even, I'll tell you this, I am a baby because I wish I had stuck with it. I tried skateboard, and I think everybody does. I had the first Bart Simpson skateboard, okay? Like, I just couldn't handle it. I like falling down, right? I tried it. It was just this thing. What advice do you have for young kids that like to make sure that they don't give up? Because it's hard, and it can be scary falling down. And I broke my arm, and it's difficult.
Yeah, my advice would be, not to give up. Just keep trying. Like, if you get hurt, you got to let it heal. And, if it's something that you don't like you said, you didn't like falling, but you learn after a while, you learn how to fall and catch yourself. It's like riding a bike. You're gonna know how to fall and catch yourself. And skateboarding too is really, really neat because you have a group of, you meet your really close friends, and you kind of support each other.
Yeah.
Like the way you dress, the music you listen to.
Oh, it's a whole scene, man.
Art
the
whole scene. It's a culture for sure.
It's something to support, and that's why people want to support it.
And I've heard parents talk about, like, to not to me, but to other parents, or like I've heard conversations where they're, like, oh, my kids' group of friends, I really adore them. They're really cool, really good kids to be around, and I'm happy that my kid's hanging out with like that group of kids.
Yeah.
And for me to hear that, I'm like, man, I had that when I was growing up. I had friends that I was just, learning from, and, feeding off them. And it was great.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Well, that's what it is. And again, because it's about having friends, getting the heck out of the house, especially these days. I was bringing up those video games. You cannot fake skateboarding. You can't. There's nothing like it.
And here in Tucson, Arizona, during the summer, you're inside playing video games all day.
Right.
Like, you can go outside, and you're just like, how the heck was I outside playing basketball or like riding my bike all day in the sun?
Yeah.
So this is going to be the first shaded skate park.
Yep. And
it's going to allow people to be down there in the shade, take a break, get on the light rail, go eat, come back. It's free. It's a public park. So this has a lot of benefits, and that leads to like someone getting really, really good from Tucson, a skater, and eventually, who knows, maybe they'll be in the Olympics.
That's right, going for that gold. That's what I want to hear. That's the best, because that's all that's been on my mind, because that is now. Think about it. People
that's it.
From right here can absolutely go that and make that a goal.
And they'll remember that. That's always like their stomping ground. You'll remember like the house you grew up in. They'll be like, well, there's my local skate park that helped me get to where I am.
All right, last question. It might be controversial. What's your take on fingerboarding?
Tech decks?
Yeah.
Oh, tech decks are awesome.
Love those things, right?
I grew up with them, and it was they were like Pokemon cards for us.
Yeah?
We would trade. You take your trucks off with your little tools and be like, I'll trade you boards.
No kidding.
I'll trade you wheels.
That's amazing and super fun.
Tech decks they're awesome.
Heck yeah, I still, because I collect a lot of toys, whatever, but I still can't help it. I will go buy the Hot Wheels and go buy the Tech decks.
Yeah.
My favorite used to be World Industries. I love Wet Willie and was it Flame Boy?
Rocco, yeah.
Yeah. I
Steve
love
Rocco.
all that stuff. Yup, all that stuff. So that was good.
Yeah, I got friends that actually still carry Tech decks in their front pocket.
Heck yeah.
They'll bust them out at the bar and stuff.
That's amazing.
It's hilarious.
That's so fun. Heck yeah. I really was so looking forward to talking about all the stuff because I knew it'd be a cool conversation, right? Because today we made friends with Caleb Gutierez, the founder of the Cushing Street Skate Park, the first covered skate park in all of Arizona. You might want to go donate and help it out today. So thanks for joining me today, Caleb.
Thanks for having me.
This was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing. Time for a recap. What a good conversation with Caleb. I learned a lot and I hope that you're inspired. And that really does show the power of what a person can do right here in our small town. Just going to that city council meeting made such a huge difference. And even though it's taken a good long time because of everything that's happening, well, no big idea happens overnight, and raising $2 million for a gigantic project like this is going to take some time. And I'm glad that not only Caleb, but the city didn't quit and they love the idea. And you can go look at the plans over on their Instagram at Cushing Street Skate Park. As I was saying, they don't need a .com, .org, or .edu. Get everything right there on Instagram and learn all about this amazing project that's really going to affect our area and can really affect your kids, because look at that. You want to raise a future Olympian? Well, now you can right here in Tucson. At least you will be able to soon when this park opens up. So maybe go donate some money, figure out what they're doing, go to one of their benefit shows that come up and about, follow them on Instagram so that you know when one of those things are going to happen, and really get involved and help these kids out, help everybody out here in Tucson with the first shaded skate park in all of Arizona. No one ever thought of this before. What a shocker. But again, what an amazing lesson in what a difference you can make by getting involved in your city. Go on down to the city council. Don't just vote in these big elections, vote in your local elections. Get involved and know what's going on in the community, especially in our Tucson community. So I want to thank our new friends at the Cushing Street Skate Park for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are gleaming the cube. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers, and Toot Toot Tucson. I love you the most.